Hello, brothers, and welcome to Sigma, Old Man Channel. A man who fears nothing is a man who cannot be controlled. Unknown. Fear is the invisible leash that keeps most people in check. It dictates their choices, limits their actions, and forces them to conform. But then there are the Sigma males, men who have cut the leash, snapped it in half, and tossed it into the fire. These are the ones who walk through life untouched by intimidation, unfazed by authority, and unimpressed by status. Here's a fact. Studies show that fear is mostly psychological, meaning people aren't afraid of reality. They're afraid of their own imagination. Sigma males, they've mastered that battlefield. While others create nightmares in their heads, Sigma males are out there treating life like a chessboard, 3 steps ahead of any threat. So why do Sigma males fear nobody? Is it their unshakable mindset, their ability to disappear at will? Or maybe they've just realized that most so-called powerful people are just loud talkers with fragile egos. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: fear has no seat at their table. Number 1, they know that fear is a weapon, not a weakness. Fear is a tool, and Sigma males know exactly how to use it. Most people spend their lives running from fear, avoiding discomfort and letting it dictate their decisions. Sigma males do the opposite. They don't just face fear, they study it, understand it, and weaponize it when necessary. They know that fear isn't some mystical force that controls the world. It's just a psychological reaction that can be managed, redirected, and even used against others. People who are ruled by fear are easy to predict, easy to manipulate, and easy to break. Sigma males recognize this weakness in others and use it to their advantage. They can sense hesitation, insecurity, and hidden anxieties in people, and they know exactly how to apply pressure without lifting a finger. Their silence can be more terrifying than a threat. Their unshaken confidence can make even the most aggressive person second-guess themselves. Their refusal to react emotionally can leave their opponents scrambling for control. It's not about being heartless or cruel, it's about understanding human nature. Fear paralyzes the weak, but it sharpens the strong. While others let fear hold them back, Sigma males use it as fuel. They take calculated risk because they aren't afraid of failure. They walk away from toxic situations because they aren't afraid of being alone. They make bold decisions because they aren't afraid of rejection. And when they need to establish dominance, they do it without raising their voice. Because the real power doesn't come from aggression, it comes from being completely unshaken. The world is controlled by those who understand fear, not those who run from it. And Sigma males, they don't fear the storm, they are the storm. Number 2, they see power as an illusion. Power only works when people believe in it. Sigma males don't. They see right through the illusion of authority, understanding that most so-called powerful people are only as strong as the perception others have of them. Titles, ranks, and social status are nothing more than costumes in a play. And Sigma males refuse to be part of the audience clapping along. They recognize that beneath the surface, everyone is just human, flawed, insecure, and often desperately clinging to the power they pretend to have. This makes Sigma males immune to intimidation. They don't get shaken by a raised voice, a flashy suit, or an overinflated sense of importance. They know that most authority figures rely on fear and submission to maintain control. But when you strip away the respect and obedience, what's left? Just another person trying to assert dominance over others. Sigma males refuse to play along. They don't challenge power loudly like rebels do. They simply don't acknowledge it, which is far more unsettling to those who crave control. This mindset makes them unpredictable. They won't bow to pressure, they won't flinch in the face of authority, and they won't be manipulated by status. If someone tries to flex their influence, a Sigma male will either outmaneuver them or walk away entirely, making power struggles pointless. When you don't believe in the game, you can't be controlled by its rules. Number 3, they have nothing to prove to anyone. Fear thrives on insecurity. The moment you feel the need to prove yourself, you give others the power to judge you, validate you, or tear you down. Sigma males don't play that game. They don't need a crowd cheering them on, nor do they seek approval from anyone. Their sense of worth isn't tied to recognition, competition, or dominance. It comes from within. This is why even the most aggressive, controlling individuals fail to shake them. Bullies, authority figures, and attention seekers all rely on the same tactic, provoking a reaction. They expect pushback, submission, or a desperate attempt to prove superiority. But when they try to intimidate a Sigma male, they're met with indifference. No defensive energy, no emotional response, just a quiet, unmoved presence that renders their tactics useless. A Sigma male doesn't need to prove he's the smartest, strongest, or most dominant in the room because he genuinely doesn't care about the rankings others obsess over. He operates on a completely different wavelength, where self-assurance replaces the need for external validation. That's why he can walk away from pointless conflicts, ignore petty insults, and remain unbothered by attempts to undermine him. His confidence isn't loud, it's unshakable, and that alone is enough to make people uneasy. The world is full of people trying to prove something: status, strength, intelligence, superiority. But when you meet someone who doesn't need to prove anything, it's both unsettling and undeniable. That's the Sigma male's power. Number 4, they expect betrayal from everyone. Trust is a luxury Sigma males don't rely on. While most people live in fear of betrayal, Sigma males expect it. They understand that loyalty is often temporary, driven by convenience, self-interest, or circumstances that can change overnight. This isn't cynicism, it's realism. They don't waste time being shocked when someone switches sides, reveals hidden motives, or suddenly disappears when things get tough. They already saw it coming. This mindset makes them unbreakable. They never build their lives around the assumption that someone will always have their back. Instead, they prepare for the moment when people show their true colors. While others crumble from the pain of betrayal, Sigma males move on without missing a step. No emotional breakdowns, no dramatic reactions, just quiet acceptance and a mental note to never let that person close again. This detachment isn't bitterness, it's strength. Sigma males don't let past betrayals turn them into victims or make them distrustful of everyone. They simply operate with the understanding that trust is conditional, and even the closest bonds can break under the right pressure. Because of this, they don't rely on external support for their sense of security. Their independence protects them from the devastation most people feel when someone they trusted turns against them. People often mistake their emotional distance for coldness, but in reality it's just wisdom. They don't let fear of betrayal control them because they never place blind faith in anyone to begin with. When you expect nothing, you lose nothing. And that's why Sigma males never fear the knife in their back. It was never a surprise to begin with. Number 5, they've experienced rock bottom and survived. Rock bottom isn't a theory to Sigma males, it's a place they've been, a battlefield they've walked through, and a crucible that forged them into who they are. Most people live in fear of losing everything: status, money, relationships, comfort. But Sigma males have already experienced that level of destruction, and instead of breaking, they adapted. They learned that survival isn't about clinging to what you have. It's about the ability to start over without hesitation. When you've lost everything and still manage to rebuild, fear loses its power over you. There's no panic about failure, no anxiety about starting from scratch, no desperation to hold on to things that don't serve them. Sigma males have already faced the worst and emerged stronger, which is why threats don't shake them. Losing a job, they'll figure it out. Losing friends, if they left, they weren't meant to stay. Losing security, they've navigated chaos before and can do it again. This experience breeds a level of detachment most people can't understand. Sigma males don't live with the same desperate need to protect a fragile existence. They've proven to themselves that they can survive even when everything collapses. This makes them fearless in a way that's unsettling to others, because a person who isn't afraid to lose has nothing to be controlled by. People who have never hit rock bottom cling to their stability like a lifeline. Sigma males, they see stability as temporary and survival as permanent. When you've already walked through the fire and come out stronger, you stop fearing the flames. Number 6, they are ghosts when needed. Sigma. Males are masters of detachment, while most people stay stuck in toxic environments out of fear of starting over, fear of loneliness, fear of the unknown. Sigma males have no such chains. The moment a situation becomes unbearable, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a social circle, they simply disappear. No warnings, no explanations, no emotional goodbyes. Just gone. This ability makes them impossible to control. You can't hold something over their head because they aren't tied to anything. You can't intimidate them with threats of exclusion because they don't seek belonging. You can't manipulate them with status, money, or guilt because none of it holds power over them. Their strength lies in the fact that they can walk away from anything and they will without hesitation if it no longer serves them. Most people are terrified of being alone, of losing what they've built, of having to start fresh. Sigma males don't see it that way. To them, reinvention is a skill, not a setback. They aren't afraid to erase their presence and rebuild elsewhere, which makes them a nightmare for anyone who thinks they can trap them with obligations, expectations, or emotional manipulation. This ghost-like nature also means they don't make enemies the same way others do. By the time someone realizes they've lost control over a Sigma male, it's already too late. He's long gone, leaving no trace, no closure, and no way to drag him back. When you can vanish at will, no one can truly have power over you. Number 7, they know the power of indifference. Fear feeds on attachment. The more you care about outcomes, opinions, or losses, the easier you are to manipulate. Sigma males, they've mastered the power of indifference. They don't operate on emotional reactions, and they don't get roped into battles that aren't worth fighting. Threats, insults, status games, none of it registers because they simply don't care. This makes them impossible to control. Most people live in constant fear, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of rejection. But Sigma males don't tie their identity to external validation. If someone insults them, they shrug. If someone threatens them, they remain calm. If someone tries to manipulate them, they see right through it and walk away. You can't shake a man who doesn't seek approval, and you can't intimidate someone who doesn't fear loss. This level of detachment makes them a mystery to others. People expect reactions, anger, fear, desperation. But when a Sigma male gives them nothing, they don't know how to respond. A bully loses power when their target isn't affected. A manipulator loses leverage when their tactics don't work. A toxic person loses control when the Sigma male simply leaves without a second thought. Indifference isn't weakness, it's power. It means you refuse to let the world dictate your emotions. It means you don't waste energy on battles that don't matter. It means you've risen above the petty games that control most people. And when nothing can shake you, nothing can control you. That's why Sigma males fear nobody, because nothing and no one has power over a man who truly does not care. Number 8. They are always ready for the worst. Most people crumble in the face of chaos because they never truly prepare for it. They live in comfortable illusions, hoping bad things won't happen, rather than accepting that they inevitably will. Sigma males, on the other hand, operate with a different mindset. Expect the worst and you'll never be caught off guard. This makes them fearless, not because they're reckless, but because they're always ready. Mentally, they've already thought through every scenario. They don't live in denial or get blindsided by life's unpredictability. They know people betray, systems fail, and situations turn sour. So when things go south, they don't panic. While others freeze or break down, Sigma males adapt instantly because they already saw it coming. Emotionally, they've built a level of resilience most people lack. Loss, failure, and hardship don't shake them because they've already conditioned themselves to handle it. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves or drowning in self-pity. Instead, they assess, adjust, and move forward. That's why they remain composed in situations that send others spiraling. Physically, some Sigma males take it even further, training themselves to endure discomfort, whether through survival skills, financial independence, or self-discipline. They don't just hope they'll be okay, they ensure it. This readiness makes them immune to fear because fear thrives on uncertainty. When you've already accepted that the worst can happen and have prepared for it, nothing has the power to shake you. Most people spend their lives avoiding the idea of disaster. Sigma males, they embrace it, prepare for it, and when it comes, meet it head-on without hesitation. That's why fear has no grip on them, because they were ready before it even arrived. Number 9, they are hard to read and impossible to predict. Fear thrives on predictability. It works best when people can anticipate your next move, your emotions, or your reaction to a situation. That's how manipulation works, by using knowledge of your behavior against you. But Sigma males have mastered the art of being unpredictable. They don't reveal much of themselves, and when they do, it's never the whole picture. This makes them impossible to control. When people don't know what you're thinking or what you'll do next, they lose their ability to instill fear. If someone tries to threaten or intimidate a Sigma male, they can't gauge how it will affect him. He might not react at all. He might walk away, or he might turn the situation in his favor without anyone seeing it coming. Sigma males don't fit into the neat boxes that others expect. They don't conform to patterns, and they certainly don't follow the same rules everyone else plays by. This creates an air of mystery around them, an unpredictability that others find unsettling. People don't know if they'll lash out, retreat, or calmly dismantle a threat with a few well-chosen words. And because they can't predict the response, they can't control it with fear. The less you reveal about your inner world, the less people can exploit it. The more you keep them guessing, the less power they have over you. This unpredictability is an invisible shield, one that protects the Sigma male from being manipulated or intimidated. Fear thrives in certainty. When you're a moving target, fear becomes powerless. And that's exactly why Sigma males are untouchable. They're always one step ahead and no one knows which direction they'll take next. Number 10, they aren't afraid of being the villain. Most people would rather avoid being labeled the bad guy because the fear of judgment is paralyzing. They bend over backwards to maintain a favorable image, always worried about how others perceive them. Sigma males, however, don't give a damn about being seen as the villain. In fact, they're perfectly fine with it. When the world demands conformity or compromise, they stand by their own code. And if that means stepping on a few toes or being branded as ruthless, so be it. Sigma males aren't afraid to embrace the role of the bad guy because they don't live for approval. They operate according to their own values, not society's expectations. If that means rejecting social norms, challenging authority, or making unpopular decisions, they don't hesitate. They understand that trying to please everyone is a surefire way to lose yourself in the process, and they'd rather stand alone on their principles than compromise who they are just to fit in. While others tiptoe around difficult situations, terrified of becoming the target of criticism, Sigma males are unshaken. If the situation calls for hard decisions or even a cold approach, they'll make them. They understand that sometimes being labeled as the villain is a necessary part of staying true to what they believe in. And when people try to shame them for it, they simply shrug it off. Being disliked doesn't faze them because they know that fear of judgment can hold you hostage. They've already accepted that not everyone will understand them, and they're completely at peace with that. To them, being labeled the villain is just another sign they're living authentically, free from the chains of societal approval. In the end, Sigma males don't fear anyone or anything because they've mastered a level of self-sufficiency and inner strength that others can only dream of. They've stripped away the illusions that bind most people: the need for approval, the fear of rejection, and the anxiety over what others think. Their power lies not in outward displays of dominance, but in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who they are and being completely unshaken by the chaos around them. Whether it's their ability to detach emotionally, their resilience through hardship, or their indifference to societal expectations, Sigma males remain untouchable because they operate by their own rules. They aren't bound by the same fears that cripple others. They don't need validation, and they don't need to control anyone to feel secure. They understand that true power comes from within, from the unwavering knowledge that nothing, no person, no situation, can truly break them. And when others try to intimidate or manipulate, the Sigma male remains calm, unfazed, and entirely in control, simply because he's already prepared for whatever life throws his way. In a world filled with people desperate to fit in, desperate to please, desperate to avoid conflict, Sigma males are the ones who stand firm in their own truth. They don't need to be liked, and they certainly don't need to be feared. They simply need to be themselves. And that, more than anything, is why they fear nobody. Because when you've mastered the art of self-reliance and inner peace, there's no one left who can control you, intimidate you, or break you. And that truly is a power most will never understand. If you enjoyed this deep dive into why Sigma males fear nobody, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the tribe. Like the video if it resonated with you, and share it with anyone who needs a little extra dose of confidence in their life. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. What do you think makes Sigma males untouchable? Let's keep the conversation going. And hey, don't forget to share this video far and wide. You never know who might need a reminder of just how powerful they can be when they stop fearing the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now and see you in the next video.